You don't need complex prompts to create a realistic video. In fact, that's probably the worst method in 2026. These days, I've got a simple workflow that generates cinematic scenes in minutes. And in this video, I'm going to show you all the steps that go into it and explain how to master each one. So by the end of this, you will have a predictable way to turn any idea into movie footage. First, before we actually get into the practical steps, you need to understand something, because this is what decides whether your next generations will look realistic or not. You see, most people spend 90% of their time inside the AI video generators, testing prompts and regenerating over and over again. And while that might seem like the way to do it, it's actually the biggest mistake you can make. Whenever you create an AI video, you have two options: text to video or image to video. Text to video is pretty straightforward. You write a prompt, and the AI creates an image based on your description. But there's a problem with that. The AI has to figure out the character, the lighting, the environment, and every other detail on its own. And what happens almost every time is that it misses essential details. So that's exactly why even the most experienced AI creators don't use this method. They always go with the second one, image to video. With image to video, you're showing the AI exactly what the first frame of your video needs to look like before it even starts generating. The model takes that image as a visual reference and builds on top of it. It can't miss the details because you've already locked them in. But not everyone who uses this method gets realistic results. Most people generate average images and then expect to get a cinematic video from them, but that's simply impossible. If you want to get realistic results, you need to reference great images. So the real question is, how do you actually create them? Well, there are only two AI tools I use for this. The first one is called Sol 2.0, and it's the best model for generating cinematic grade images. The second is Nano Banana Pro, which I use for the edits. You can find both of these inside Higgsfield, so if you want to follow along, I'll leave a link in the description. After you log in, go to the image tab and select Sol 2.0, and right away, you'll notice one thing that makes this model completely different. Sol 2.0 comes with 22 built-in styles like Y2K, street photography, Mystic City, and a lot more. Here are just a few images I've created with them. So instead of trying to create a specific visual effect using complex prompts, you just select a style and it does all the work for you. None of these styles will actually matter if your character looks different from one generation to another. Just imagine spending 2 hours creating the perfect aesthetic, and then when you create another image, your character suddenly has a different hair color. These small changes break the illusion and instantly reveal that it's AI. Without a consistent character, nothing else matters. This feature inside Higgsfield allows me to use the same person in any image or video I want without losing any details from it. First, click on the character tab from the top bar and then on create character. Now you need to upload multiple photos from different angles with the character you want to create. And if you want to get the best results possible, I recommend you upload over 20 images. To do this, we first need to generate our character. For this, head to the image tab, select Nano Banana Pro, and describe exactly what you want. Here's the prompt I'll write, click generate, and here's the result we get back. The woman looks exactly like I wanted, so I'll download the image and move on to the next step. Now we need to create those different angles. For this, go to apps and look for the feature called Angles 2.0, and this allows you to get whatever camera angles you need from your photo. You can instantly get 12 of the most useful angles like front facing, side profile, and close up, or you can also go in and create custom angles for anything more specific. Run this a few times until you get 20 angle variations. The more variety you give it, the more accurately the AI is trained on your character's identity and holds it consistent. Once you have the images, upload them to the character feature, give her a name, and let it train. Now let's actually test the styles inside Sol 2.0 with our new character. This is what it creates with street photography. Honestly, this already looks cinematic straight out of the model. Now, here's what we get back with Y2K Street, and here's the result with digital camera. And one of the coolest things with this is that Higgsfield actually shows you the exact internal prompt that it used. So let's actually copy the prompt from the last generation and go back to the image generation. You can also edit the prompt to match your exact preferences. After you paste it in, go ahead and select another style while keeping the same character. Click generate and wait. I actually like this result better than the last one. I feel like this style fits it the best. Now there are two more things I want to change. So for this, I'm going to use Nano Banana Pro. Take the image, put it as reference. Now I'll paste in this prompt. As you can see, it changed all the details I wanted while also keeping everything else intact. This is very useful when you want to modify something without regenerating the entire image from zero. Nano Banana is incredibly precise with these kinds of edits. So now that you have a great reference image with a consistent character, you're 80% of the way to a finished video. The only step left is to create the video. However, this can quickly become intimidating if you're using complex tools like I see most beginners do. If you're not a professional editor or a filmmaker, the best tool you can use is the Cinema Studio. This has a very intuitive interface, which doesn't actually limit the control you have over the production. Cinema Studio lets you plan and direct your video, shot by shot, before even rendering a single frame. Let's say I want to build a short scene with two characters, a sad man who's sitting alone at a cafe, and a woman he knows that's coming unexpectedly. The first thing I do is upload my reference image as the starting frame. This will make sure that the video will include all the details that I want. Next, select the multi-shot manual option, and then set up the scenes. Cinema Studio lets you build up to 6 scenes in a single sequence, with a total runtime of up to 12 seconds. For this video, I'm going to create 3 scenes, and for each one, I'll select the exact options I need. First of all, let's click here and add our character. Beside realism, one of the most important things when it comes to creating cinematic scenes is the emotion. So before you create any video, take a moment to think about the emotion you want each scene to create. And this way, you're actually starting to become a movie director. And inside Cinema Studio, you can actually do this. For each character, you can set a specific emotion like hope, anger, and sadness. So for the man in the first scene, I want it to be sad. But in the end, the tension finally softens and they're both happy. This is what makes the characters go from playing AI to feeling like they're actually living inside. But if you want to go a step further, there's one setting that people often overlook. What I'm talking about is the genre. This tells the AI how to handle the pacing, energy, and the overall emotional tone of the scene. You can choose from comedy, action, horror, and many more. For this video, I'll go with intimate, which will slow the pace down and make the space feel more quiet. But before I show you the biggest secret to conveying the right emotions, let's paste in the prompt for the first scene. I'm setting the duration for the first scene to 4 seconds. I want the viewer to really feel the sadness of the man right before the woman arrives. For the second scene, when she walks in, I'll set it up to 5 seconds because there's more happening, and for the last one, I'll leave it at 3 seconds. Now you can also select the camera movement, which will give it more of that cinematic feeling. You can choose from multiple options like zoom ins, dolly, and even 360 roll. So once you pick one for each of your scenes, this is where you start refining the result using one of the most important settings inside Cinema Studio, the one that really shapes how this scene feels rather than just how it looks. What I am talking about is the speed ramp. This controls the feeling of time within each scene. And depending on what you choose, you can massively influence the emotions the viewer feels. You can make a scene move slower and heavier to make the emotion feel more intense, or you can make it fast and sharp for more aggressive scenes. For the first part of my video, I'll slow it down because I want to emphasize every second of that sadness isolation. For the second part, I keep the pacing smooth and evenly timed, so everything flows naturally. And for the third part, I shape the timing with a rise and drop, so certain moments hit harder and feel more dynamic. Now let's click on generate and watch the result. It produced all 3 scenes as a single seamless sequence with smooth transitions, consistent characters, and pacing that aligns with the emotion. And that's how you take a simple idea and turn it into a video so realistic that nobody even wonders if it's AI. If you want to create the same type of results, click the link in the description and sign up to Higgsfield. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.